Okay. Here we are at Pokemon. Again. I'm gonna see if we can beat Watson. Let's reboot. Great noise. Fantastic noise. Hello. Probably do that. Howdy. Hello. We're doing this again. Because I feel like it. I'm a little hobbited out for the moment. Pokemon feels right. So, I did a little bit of grinding off stream. You'll forgive me, I hope. So we've trained all of our Pokemon to nearly level 20. I left Wally here at level 19 because he's gonna evolve soon. As is Maru. I think those are the only ones. Obviously, Volbeat here doesn't evolve. You don't evolve. You don't evolve for a while. You're not particularly close to evolving. You've got a couple levels to go. While I was out kind of like grinding, I caught more rare Pokemon. I found another Volbeat and I found 2 Plusle while I was out there. So I caught them, but they're just in the box just to have. No other reason really. Right, so, Surskit. We like Surskit. Why is Surskit in the box? I don't think Surskit's the right choice for Watson. It's a water type. Need I say more? Volbeat isn't much better, granted. Confuse Ray's not bad, though. But it's a pure bug. For some reason I thought Volbeat was bug and flying, and that's not true. It's a pure bug. So there you go. There's your dumb fact for the day. Hello. So I think we're gonna double back to the previous route here. Hit up any trainers that we missed, and once we've defeated all of those trainers, I think we will go away, fight Watson. Yeah, I put the water spider away because it's a water spider, and that seems like a bad time against Watson. I want Maru to evolve sooner rather than later, because Vigoroth, I don't actually know how good Vigoroth's stats are, but they're going to be better, and he doesn't have the, awful... the awful what's-it ability. The slacking off. Yeah, so he loses his laziness during his adolescent years. But once he evolves into slacking, he'll be lazy again. But he'll have really good stats, so I guess that makes up for it. Okay, so... Oh, right. I think I turned off animations while I was grinding and didn't turn them back on. Whoops, I'll turn those back on here in a moment. Let's send out Marshtomp. You're actually kind of under-leveled compared to the rest of my dudes. Water Spider will come back, though. I kind of want to force the Water Spider into a position of prominence even though we already do have a water type in Marshtomp, just because it's like the first rare Pokemon you get. I mean, I guess Ralts is too, but Surskit's rarer? I don't know. I have a soft spot for it. What can I say? What can I say? Yeah, we need the animations back on. Feels wrong. I feel like I need them. Animations off is good for when you're, like, trying to multitask, like if you're trying to, like, grind and watch anime at the same time. But otherwise, I want them on. I missed! That's not allowed. No, no. There we go. Maru, evolving. I think, is this our first evolution? No, Mudkip evolved. Duh. Vigoroth. It's full of vigor. Or she, right? This is a lady Slackoth? Yes, it is. So what is your ability? Vital Spirit. Prevents sleep. Okay. So, don't teach him rest? Don't teach her rest? I think is what I would say to that. We're going to swap Wally in front, and we are going to turn animations back on. There we go. Maru will be fine. I've declared it. Yeah, you can use confusion. Sure, why not? We'll fight you. I think these are decent experience. Might be making that up. Turn this down. I'm concerned we're gonna get a bunch of echo through the recording. I don't particularly want that. Also, tell me how the audio levels are. I had to do some readjusting when I adjusted the firmware on the capture card. The image quality still isn't right. It's too bright now. But I think I prefer that to the too dark that we were having. Audio seems fine. Fantastic. What's new in the world of anime? I've watched a lot of anime. I've watched a lot of isekai lately. I've just been, like, churning through them. I will have to possibly pull up the My Anime list in order to remember what I've even been watching. Because it's like a disease. Boy, yeah, I've been watching a lot. Holy moly. Sorry, bear with me. Okay. Had you ever watched Evangelion before? I've seen most of it in bits over the years, but I've never actually sat down and, like, given it a proper watch. Yeah, I would say it's basically on my to watch list to, you know, actually invest time and effort towards. kind of picked up and started it with the best of intentions. I have had a couple of shows like that. Let me tell you, most notably, there was a movie like that, actually. I tried on like 4 separate occasions to watch The Wiz, the 1970s Wizard of Oz reimagining, and I fall asleep every time. I don't know, something. I'm sure it's better on stage, but at least as a film, it was kind of a slog to watch, and I've never actually gotten through it. Got sick and watched through it. I did that with Attack on Titan. I finally said, you know what, I've got COVID. I'm gonna finally get this off my to-do list. And I guess I'm glad I did. But I have mixed feelings about Attack on Titan. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, like some people say, and I don't think it's the masterpiece that other people say. Yeah, a little bit. I think parts of it were amazing and fantastic, and then other parts of it was just like, no. The opposite of that. So I guess if I were to give it an overall grade, I'd say it's fine. You know, balancing the good with the bad. It's somewhere between fine and just like kinda good. It's more good than bad. We'll say that. Alright, Maru, yeah, putting you up against the fighting type. Not my smartest moment. Apologies. I saw that you were, I don't know how how deep you got into it. I saw the notification, and then it went away. I think I saw that you were doing like an ocarina like randomizer potentially. I was gonna like sneakily tune in from work, but I think the opportunity had come and gone. I think I am gonna have to implement a randomizer or a emulator into my arsenal, because I think I do want to do some randomizers, and figuring out how to do that on original hardware with like an EverDrive and ROMs. It's more work and more expense than it's worth. So I think I might have to break one of those out. Yeah, I think that's fair. With Attack on Titan, I don't think it has the worst. You know, there are definitely anime with like more dense casts with characters that matter less. I can't think of one offhand, of course, naturally, but I think it does suffer from that. I think it's a little oversaturated. Good news is they do kill them off pretty readily, so like some of them you don't got to remember for too long. I'm sure I've said this on stream before, but never actually played Ocarina. Well, I played like the first like 20 minutes of Ocarina. Like I got out of the tree village into the overworld, and that's as far as I've ever gotten. I've never like actually played that game. Heck, I only beat my first Zelda game this year. I beat Link to the Past for the first time, and that's the first time I've beaten any Zelda title. I'm pretty happy with that, because that's something that was on my to-do list for a good long while. Yeah, if you grew up with an N64, I can totally see why that would be. It's I mean, it seems like it's a really well put together game, and yeah, just hits right. Spyro on PS1 is definitely that for me. I guess to some extent these older Pokemon games are too. We're gonna fight all the trainers on this route, and then we're gonna poke our head into Watson's gym. I'm a little worried about him. This team isn't the best equipped to deal with him. I mean, Marshtomp will probably do fine, you know, with Mudshot, but otherwise it's not looking that great. Gosh, where even is... What's the next Pokemon that we need to get, anyway? Oh, fantastic. Our next Pokemon aren't going to be that much better, I'm sorry to say. Because we are getting... We already got cut. We don't need furry swipes. Get out of here. Next on our list, we're getting Grimer. So that's, you know, top tier. Oh, right. Duh. Eclipse was asking me about anime, and I just said, yeah, I've watched a lot of anime, and I didn't talk about a single one of them. I got distracted and talked about Attack on Titan instead. So what have I watched? A lot of isekai. A lot of some good, some average, just about all isekai. Which ones are noteworthy? Which ones are interesting? Oh, I did watch one that's kind of like a... I'd call it a Katarina-like. There was an anime some years ago called, like, I've Been Reincarnated as the Villainess. That was actually kind of pretty decent. So there's kind of a now genre of that where kind of otome game, dating sim, adjacent, reincarnation type stuff. And I watched a couple of those, and one of them was just kind of meh, it was fine. But the one that was also kind of good, I thought it was okay at least, was I'm in Love with the Villainess. That one was kind of fun. Kind of put a different spin on things. I haven't watched anything like that requires thought. Like, everything I've been watching is dumb and fluffy and dumb and fluffy. There was another one that was, like, kind of interesting. It was, like, from 10 years ago, and it's, like... Anime 10 years ago was kind of in a rough space where it was, like, a lot of shows with interesting concepts would get one season, and then it's hard to tell if, like, the manga or light novel had a short run or what the deal is, but everything would get, like, one season and that would be it. And it was basically just an advertisement for the manga. I think this was one of those. It was called something along the lines of, like, the problem children are coming from the other world or something. And it was alright. I think the concept was kind of interesting, because it's like... The world is gamified. It revolves around games, like issuing challenges, but it's not like video gamey. Like, you know, you get a lot of the shows where, like, you know, the character gets to the new world and they have like a freaking like status menu and like inventory menu and stuff. It's not like that. So I don't know. I found that one to be kind of fun and interesting, and I would have watched the second season of it if it existed, but it don't. What's this one? What is this one called? I rated it highly. What is it? Oh yeah, the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. That one was fun. I liked that one. That one was pretty good. I've watched plenty others besides, but those are the ones that I don't know, come to mind, I guess. Wow, that's a lot of confusion turns. That's crazy. That was a pretty good roll. That might have been max turns. I'm not sure. I wasn't keeping count. No, thanks for the warning. I guess the only other note I have on anime that I watched is that the I'm in Love with the Villainess show, banger opening and banger ending. Some of the best opening and ending themes I've heard in a little bit. Good fun. Now, Gust kind of sucks because we're weak to it, but it's actually kind of a poor move for Dustox because Dustox isn't bug flying, it's bug poison. So it doesn't get the benefit of Gust. Beautifly does, though. So we might want to watch out for that. I will read that and respond to it later. Because it looks like it has to do with plans and such. I think there's some hidden items in here. Yeah, free repel. Repel is not something we need here. Well, let's go heal and let's. Oh, okay. I guess we'll fight you. That's fine. I actually really like Doduo and Dodrio. I think are pretty decent. I don't know if they're underrated because I don't know how they are perceived, but I like them a lot. Of the Gen 1 birds, I think they're kind of neat. And I don't know. I like Tri-Attack's animation. So any Pokemon that can learn Tri-Attack is usually pretty cool. Suppose we could pick up a bike now. I'm not really sure why I haven't done that. Do we want the go fast bike or the jump around bike? Do we have a preference? I usually went with the go fast bike. I came all the way from Little Root. That's ridiculous. You're mad. I can't have it. I'm a real sweetheart. I mean, I guess that's a way to describe yourself. I'm getting away from you. I'm putting distance between us. Alright, that was fun. I'll probably forget that I have the bike and not use it. That seems like what I would do. Alright. Am I worried for nothing? Am I just gonna sweep the whole gym with Marshtomp? I don't know, maybe. Well, I mean, at least we're appropriately leveled. We're not over-leveled by any means. I don't know what level Watson is in his Pokemon app, but... I guess the main concern with using Wally would be Magnemite, right? Magnemite Steel resists everything, including Psychic. Why do you have a Zigzagoon? That ain't a Thunder type. You can teach it Thunderbolt. Yeah, that... Okay. That's weird. You're just trying to show off the utility of electric moves and be like, yeah, anyone can learn them. They're great. Maybe. Oh, actually, here, let's switch to Maru. Let's fight this nice lady. I feel like the rocker up there, the musician, he's probably gonna have a Magnemite. Oh, hello. Hello to the mother figure. I hope she is doing well. Okay, so you have a fighting Pokemon that's using Detect. Thunder Punch, okay, sure. That didn't do a whole lot. Meditite wasn't even in Emerald, was it? That was like one of those retroactive version exclusives. So strange. Yeah, he's probably got a mix of Voltorb and Magnemite. So I'm thinking here. I mean, I know that Watson has Manectric. He might have a Voltorb. He might have a Magnemite. I think in Emerald he has a Magneton. But it's been a while. Alright, so we're gonna put somebody else out in front, and we're gonna kind of save Marshtomp towards the end. No, I never did finish Season 2 of Next Life as a Villainess. That was something I was watching with the wife, and we just haven't gotten around to doing that. So I might have to, like, sit down and watch that myself. I'm not sure. I'm like, I think 9 episodes into it. Like, we're mostly done, I think. Oh, you start with the Magnemite. Oh. Well, ain't that dandy. Okay. Well, then I guess we kind of have to send out Marshtomp, don't we? Because that's like the only thing I have that can deal with it. You must lead with Voltorb and Emerald, then. So, do you have an Electrike and a Manectric, then? No, you go Voltorb next. Okay. Well, what do I know? Not a whole lot. Rollout. Use the meme move. Use assist. See what we pull out of the hat. No! Teleport! Boo! Miss? No, you're not gonna miss. Why would you miss? I think it's done for now. I think it either finished last week or this week. And it's short. It's like 7 or 8 episodes, and then they're gonna come back in February with more, I think. I guess Marshtomp just has to carry us. Sorry, Marshtomp. But yeah, I think it's done by now. Oh wait, you might have Levitate. No, you don't. Why don't you have Levitate? If you're the Electric Gym, that seems like... Wait, do you not even have Manectric? Wait, what? What? Your ace isn't the electric Pokemon introduced in the Hoenn region? They made that change in Emerald? What? Oh, that's wild. That's dumb. Huh. Okay. Well, he was a menace. At least Flannery, you know, Flannery uses all of the fire Pokemon available to her in the region. Because what, she's got Camerupt? I mean, I'm making assumptions, but I think she's got Camerupt and Torkoal. She might have a Slugma, which, you know, that's Gen 2, I guess, but hey, still. Did I already get Rock Smash? Nope, I sure didn't. Okay, so who wants to be really sad and learn Rock Smash for me? Any takers? Of course it's Maru. When do we get to the move deleter? Me too. I kind of assumed Slugma was Gen 3 for a long time as well. Although, apparently that's not unique to us. Because, like, Gen 3 was the first gen I had major exposure to. Even a lot of people who grew up with, like, Gen 1 and 2 heavily kind of forget about Slugma, because Slugma was so out of the way in Gold and Silver. Like, it wasn't available in the Johto region. You had to go to Kanto to get Slugma, which is bizarre. So I could teach it to Marshtomp, or I could teach it to Maru. Both of those suck. I'm teaching it to Maru. I'm not giving my starter the loser HMs. And then, you know, it's going to take a while for us to get to the move deleter, but we'll fix that then. Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? You know, can this dainty thing smash a rock? No. Or if you're talking about the Slugma thing, I totally agree with you. Can this smash a rock? No. Can this? No. Can that? No. Like, it makes sense. Even if I hate it. Yeah, the Slugma thing is really weird. I think, I want to say Houndour, same kind of deal. Should I be going back to get Surskit? We are gonna come up to the fire gym pretty soon. Yeah, I think we will. Give me my Surskit. Who are we boxing? Are we putting Volbeat away? Oh yeah, it's a pure bug type, and we're coming up against the fire gym. These are pretty sound arguments. Alright. I talked myself into it. Sorry, Voltron. We'll talk to you later. I have not watched any more Voltron. Don't even ask. Hasn't happened. Yeah, I had a Volbeat in my party named Voltron, but we put him in the PC because he's pure fire, or pure, pardon me, pure bug, and the next gym is the fire gym, and that's a bad time. Nobody wants that. There is a Pokemon named Volbeat, and there is a band, a fairly popular band, also called Volbeat. I think I'm not sure. I think they named themselves after the Pokemon. I'm pretty sure. That's the impression I get. Don't quote me on it. The wife's brother is pretty substantial fan of Volbeat. I've never actually listened to their stuff. I'm sure it's wonderful. On a scale of you know, Pearl Jam to intelligible, like how bad is it? Even from all in good fun. Pearl Jam are pretty okay. They're Danish? Oh, okay. Well, that's not doing them any favors, is it? Don't play any drinking games with ghost stories. No, that sounds like a horrible thing to do to your liver. Your liver deserves better than that. You're disgustingly good. Ew. Ew. Disgusting. Do I want to fight you? Not really. I do want to do this, though. So we are coming up to the cave where we can catch our next rare friend here. I'm actually really looking forward to, like, this hiker. He's one of the hikers that you can, like, rematch. So I remember just fighting, like, this guy a lot. The Page Master. I don't think I've seen that one. It sounds... The name sounds familiar, so I'm sure it has some sort of notoriety to it, but I don't think I've come across it. My leg! Okay, so now we are going to... Do I have Premier Balls? The best ball? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now we run around in here until we find a Grimer, which I think only appears at a 1% chance, so we might be here a hot minute. Ooh, and we can train Itsy Bitsy on Nummel. Or Numel. Not sure. Never actually heard it said. I'm gonna go with Nummel. If you're gonna call it Numel, I feel like it needs like an umlaut or something. I don't know. Doesn't look right. So this is one of the version exclusive deals, right? In this cave you can find both Coughing and Grimer. You can find the Team Rocket Pokemon. But you can only find Grimer at a 1% chance in Ruby. And then the tables are reversed for Sapphire. Coughing, oof, pardon me, is the rare one in Sapphire. I think Torkoal lives in this cave as well. Yep, sure does. Not rare enough for me to care about. I think it shows up at like a 10% chance, so it's like, it's uncommon, but it ain't rare. I think they finally got rid of Curse in modern Pokemon. Maybe. I don't remember. Gives good XP though, like 350? That's pretty good. We'll fight them if they come up. It means that it's going to be a lot longer before we find Grimer, because I'm fighting, but... I don't know. The more wild Pokemon I fight, the more trainers I can skip. We'll go with that. That's probably true. The next rare Pokemon we have to get is not a 1% chance. It is a little bit more common. So we'll have a bit of a nicer time. Dude, I have advice on building a NAS. You want network accessible storage. Okay. Well, do I? Never actually done it myself. There's a lot of routes you can take. Depending on your budget and how much storage you think you need. One of the easiest ways that is kind of appealing to me because I'm lazy is a lot of routers these days will have a USB port on it specifically for that. So you could buy like an external SSD, plug that straight into the router, and boom, you have network storage as big as the external hard drive you can find to plug into it, which I'm sure these days is probably, what, 8 terabytes? Probably? Certainly 4, right? 4 is definitely... Because I'm sure I had one that was 2. So, like, 8, we gotta be by 8 right now, right? We gotta be up to 8. Oh, hey, Itsy Bitsy's evolving. Fantastic. Otherwise, I would say if you're going the more traditional route, I would say you don't need... Again, depending on what you're doing, you probably don't need server hardware. You know, you don't need to buy, like, a rack-mounted whatever. It's an Itsy Bigsy. Heck yeah, it is. Look at that thing. I do like its design. It's good. It very effectively, like, does the thing in nature, right? Where, like, the wings look like eyes to, like, make itself look bigger to, like, you know, fend off predators or whatever. I think it does that really effectively. Like, when I was a kid, I thought I was a dumb kid. I thought those, you know, brown spots on its wings were its eyes. But no, it's got 2 little black beady eyes in the red bit of its body. This is a good design. This is a good Pokemon. I'll argue that. Yeah. Network storage. Oh, you have Intimidate now. Oh, that's kind of useful. That's kind of nice. You've lost your water typing, though. That's gonna be a problem for this next gym. Crap, you might be going in the box in favor of Grimer. Oh, no. We hardly knew ye. Okay, well, we'll take you back out right after. We'll bring you with for Norman. Yeah, I don't think you need server hardware. I think as long as you get some sort of... And you don't even need either probably like a big PC. Like, they make little itty-bitty towers that, as long as you're not futzing with it too much, it's probably sufficient for your needs. You can stick like 4, you know, spinning discs in there. And if you're gonna go that route, I will say I recommend spinning discs versus SSDs. You don't need the speed of an SSD for network storage, right? This is like cold storage. This is like your, you know, a backup, right? So you don't need the grunt of an SSD. You know, some people, I've seen some people where they use their network storage, they use their, like, server to, like, for their video editing. Like, they'll render massive videos in, like, 4K, and they'll do that on the server. So, like, in that instance, like, maybe an SSD would be a good idea to speed that along, but for the most part, I would say just a spinning disk would be fine. And then you've got options. I mean, it can be as simple as just popping another Windows computer on the network and moving things over. I think a lot of people would tell you to look to Linux, and they might not be wrong to do that. One thing that I have heard that I've not looked into, so with hard drives, there is, or was, something called RAID. RAID stands for Redundant Array of Independent Disks, I think. And that was a way to get multiple hard drives to kind of act as one. So, like, if you had, like, three... let's say you had 4 2-terabyte hard drives. You could put them in RAID, and you could do something called striping. There was, like, striping, and there was, like, another thing. Basically, there were 2 flavors of RAID, right? There was RAID makes access faster, which in the pre-SSD days, that was, like, that's how you got a fast hard drive, was by doing RAID. Or you get redundancy. So, like, you can have, like, 4 2-terabyte disks, and then you've got, like, 4 terabytes of hard drive space, because the, like, disk A and disk B, and then there's copy of disk A and copy of disk B, and RAID is supposed to, like, kind of check those things. Oh, of course you have levitate. The Magnemite didn't, but coughing does. Whatever. So, like, that was great, and and that was built into hardware. That was, like, something in the motherboard that you would kind of turn on and tinker with. I watched a couple of YouTube videos by, what is it, Level 1 Tech, I think the channel is called, a gentleman by the name of Wendell. He asserts that hardware level RAID is dead. It doesn't work anymore. I haven't looked into it myself. Yeah, Wendell says RAID is dead, and that you can't do it in hardware anymore. You shouldn't trust it. So if you do want RAID, you need to look into software RAID. Why is it dead? Why'd you choose teleport, you dumb cat? Bella. Oh gosh, do I remember his reasons? I mean, basically he ran some tests. He you know, picked up some hardware, I think, that said they do RAID, and he was, like, inserting corruption, like, on purpose into the files to see if it would notice, and it didn't, and it just kind of let the corrupted sectors live on, which is bad if you're looking for a backup. So yeah, he says, don't bother with hardware RAID. You've got to take matters into your own hands with software. And I'm sure there's a lot of Linux software. I mean, Wendell's a big Linux guy. I'm not going to say just watch Wendell's videos and do whatever he says, but he's probably smarter than me on this subject. He does enterprise solutions, right? So he knows a thing or two about network storage, I'm sure. Grab the real Bella, punish her for what in-game Bella did? That doesn't seem fair. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do that. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Is if it were me, if I'm gonna set up network storage for myself, I am gonna go the lazy route. My router does have the USB ports. I'm gonna slap an external drive on it, Yeah, I don't blame you. He's very intelligent, and sometimes he speaks such that he kind of anticipates that his audience has a certain level of understanding of the subject. I think a lot of his channel viewers are IT professionals. I think that's probably the major demographic, or professionals, or like extreme enthusiasts. I would say he's not the easiest casual watch. But boy, he is smart. I would say, yeah, I'd lean towards the USB thing if your router supports it. Check your router, check your manufacturer's website, read your owner's manual. You might have to download an app somewhere to navigate it. If you're gonna go the traditional way, I would say just make sure it's got a strong network card. Make sure it can do gigabit through Ethernet. And you don't have to buy something crazy. Just buy a little box. They make little boxes, for this, that can, hold, 3 or 4 hard drives, and that's probably enough. And then, if you're gonna do it, if you want the redundancy, if you're like, okay, well, yeah, it's one thing to have network access storage, but I want it to be secure, look into Software RAID. Which I haven't looked into myself, but that seems like good advice. That's all I know. I'm a simple man. I'm a jack of many trades, and not a master of very many of them. Someone was asking me today, they were like, what do you know about kitchen knives? I'm like, I know a little bit. When talking about software, are we talking about software that lets you access the storage in the NAS? No, you shouldn't need that. I mean, you could do something like that. You could set it up as like an FTP server, but no, you don't need to do that. When we're talking about the software, if you're going with the little mini tower solution, the software would be something that runs, that basically babysits the hard drives. It's not for accessing. It's not so that you can access it from this computer. You can access the files that are over there. It's running over there with your files. And looking at them and scrutinizing them and making sure, hey, have you become corrupted? Have you become tainted? And hopefully the answer is no. And if the answer is yes, the software should be able to correct that. You know what? I think we might need to go to the Pokemon Center. The software being a mean girl? Don't anthropomorphize your computer software. Look, I understand 2D is justice these days, but look, let's not go crazy, okay? If anything, I think of RAID... If I'm gonna anthropomorphize RAID software, if you're going to implore me to do that, I think of it as a pretty buff guy who's kind of more like a bouncer. Like, hey, Data, you ain't dressed right. Go home and change. Well, we already have Ramu. We already have Ram in ReZero, so like we're done. Job done. Mission accomplished. It doesn't get any better than that. We'll fight a trainer on our way up to the cave. That sounds fine. Earn some money. All right, so Maru, you are kind of. Oh yeah, let's yawn you, and then let's attract you. Fantastic. Am I sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends? No, I am not. I've never had a sponsorship in my life, if you can believe that. Shocking, I know. Who wouldn't want this to sell their products? Have I ever actually sold anything? I mean, like, Facebook Marketplace, I suppose, but, like... I don't think I've ever had to, like, push a sale. I've never worked in that sort of position. No. Most of what I've done is I did sell you a PS2, but I didn't have to. It's more that you purchased the PS2 from me, and less that I sold it to you, right? I didn't need to sell you it. You're like, hey, you got a PS2? I'll buy it. I'm like, sure, man. That's my recollection. I've never had to, like, tell someone, you want to buy this. People come to me and be like, I'll buy your stuff from you. I'm like, okay. Which, hey, maybe that means I'd be a great sponsor. Who knows? Sold a couple of typewriters that way. Alright, Magnemite, go down. I sold myself to my wife. I guess. I sold the idea of being stuck with me forever to my wife. And she bought it. Yeah, I'm a sellout. Should you buy the $200 Lamb Lies Down on Broadway box set? That is a fantastic question. I would say not if you're going to buy the $200 or what, $300, $400 Code Geass set. Like, pick one would be my advice. That's my personal opinion on the matter. I am. Oh, is this a test? No, I failed. I thought you were asking for advice, not to be sold something. My bad. Well, here's what I would say. You know, you were already sold. That's true. You don't need me to convince you to buy what I believe is your favorite Genesis album. I think that's true. How does RAM have short T? I don't know. Short-term memory of RAM. RAM is short-term memory. RAM only has memory while it's awake. Well, there's volatile and non-volatile RAM. Most RAM is volatile. You know, it will remember things while it's powered on, and then it'll power down and it'll forget. And then there's, wait, hold on. Yeah, volatile RAM forgets. Non-volatile RAM remembers, at least for a little bit. Memory cards, right? You add a memory card for like your PlayStation or your GameCube. That I think is probably an example of non-volatile RAM, because it is... I mean, non-volatile RAM, to an extent, like, that's... In a way, it's kind of what an SSD is, I guess? Have I been around to Barasu? No, I haven't. I mean, I check on him every now and again, but he doesn't always, he can be hard for me to reach. Do I have any peaches? I do have some peaches. Oh, we got 2 poisons? Dang. Alright, well, no more peaches. Alright, we are back on the hunt for Grimer. We want Grimer. Nah, I'm not slow. I don't know what you're talking about. If they made ReZero themed computer hardware, would I buy it? If they made like what, an Amelia case, would I buy that? I don't know how much does it cost? Like probably not. Maybe. If I got a good deal on it, I'd think about it. The collector in me says, if they did make that, it would probably be valuable in the future to a collector. So maybe I want that. And then I would finish that sentence by saying, to sell it later, but I know myself, and I don't tend to sell a lot of my collectibles. I tend to buy them and sit on them as they gather dust and decay in my own possession. So, you know, I should be more honest with myself. Roswell GPU. Well, you're not gonna let... What's Barasu gonna do then? Subaru needs a job. You could, if it was a glass case, you could have the LEDs. Well, I was gonna say, like, Julius's spirits could be the RGB. Subaru would be a part that constantly dies. Don't be rude. Be nice to poor Subaru. If we get up to, like, level... I don't know. At some point I'll have to quit. Like... I don't know, this is the trouble, right? So we had this issue last time, where it's like, boy, I really should, you know, train against these wild Pokemon, but it means that it's going to be a while before we see Grimer. You know, so I might have to do the knock it off and just start running around and running away from things until we get Grimer, so we can move on. I do want to get Itsy Bitsy up to level 23. That seems like a good level. Seems like a nice level to be at. I can't remember if Coughing can have the white smoke ability in this game or not. Oh, what will I name Grimer? That's an excellent question. That's what we need to be thinking about. What will we name Grimer? I mean, I've never seen the show, but I understand there's a guy in The Walking Dead called Rick Grimes. Is that true? Like, we could call him that. If you've got better names, I'm all for it. But you know, that's what came to mind. Could call him Grimsby. I think that's the name of the advisor to the prince in The Little Mermaid. Alright. We got you up to 23. A name from the Slime anime. Oh god, what's the main character's... What's the main character's name in Slime? Rimuru? We could call him Rimuru. I'd be alright with that. We can call him Rimuru. I'm kind of liking that idea. Who dares text me? A Alolan Grimer? I'm not sure if that'll fit. If it fits, I mean, I think Plusachu, I think that's like the limits, like hitting the limits of. No, it's a funny joke. I like it a lot. You know, it's like if we had if we were catching a Zigzagoon, right? We could name it that Galarian final evolution, the weird, you know, badger monster, whose name I don't recall. Like that's a funny joke, right? That it's anachronistic, which is always good. Yeah, Gene Simmons. It's anachronistic. That's always funny. It's, you know, it subverts your expectations. You don't expect to see that here in Ruby. That's funny. We like that. Like, what are other Pokemon that had, like, distinct evolutions? Like, you know, you're playing Gold and Silver, you catch a Teddiursa, you name it Ursaluna. That's funny. You know, that's a good joke. As a reminder, this isn't a Nuzlocke, so if Plusachu dies, he's not dead, he's just resting. He's pining for the fjords. I don't know if you know this trick, but yeah, if you just fidget in one place, that counts as walking for the wild Pokemon encounter, but it doesn't increment the poison counter. It also doesn't increment the Safari Zone counter. So there's your top tip for the day if you go back to play one of these old games. Uh-oh, there goes Plusachu. Wah wah. Yeah, we'll send Maru out. Why not? There's Bella. As a reminder, in case anyone was like thinking about it, even though Bella has the cute charm ability, it doesn't mean we're more likely to get male Pokemon in the wild here. I don't think that was coded in until Emerald and the DS games. Might have been in Fire Red and Leaf Green. Not sure about that. It was, I'm pretty sure, in Emerald. It was definitely in there in the DS games and beyond. Come on, Grimer. 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 You're not Grimer. No! Stop using teleport. We need to get rid of teleport from Wally just so friggin' Skitty quits using it. My goodness. I would also take a shiny. I mean, that doesn't mean we get to stop looking for Grimer, but you know, give me a shiny. I've never had a shiny anything in this cave. With my luck, I'll get another shiny Spinda. I've had 2 of them. They're drawn to me. Oh, right. Rock Smash is there instead of Scratch. Well, that's fine. The only reason I switched moves is because Cut's only 95% accurate, and I didn't want to miss. You shouldn't grind against random Pokemon in the cave while you're looking for Pokemon. You're gonna mess up your Pokemon's EVs. Whatever, I don't care. I don't care. If we ever do the Battle Frontier in Emerald, I'll care about... Oh, dang, Slugma. I don't think we've seen Slugma yet. Someone want to look up how rare Slugma is in this cave? Because apparently it's higher than 5%, but... boy, we sure haven't seen one. Oh, that was... Well, I am burned as well, so, like, my attack is, lowered. Womp womp. Grimer, Grimer, Grimer. Purple People Eater. I need the Purple People Eater. I watching Dan to Dan. I think NASCAR was talking about that one on a recent stream as something that is good and something maybe I should consider watching. You were. No, I haven't watched it yet. If that's two people I know saying that maybe I should, then maybe I should. Were you? I don't know. I don't know anything. I put on a facade of knowing things. Most recent episode wrecked you. Ooh, okay. It's one of those shows. Okay. I mean, maybe I'm ready to be hurt again. maybe it's time. If ReZero's done for the season, then, you know, maybe I need some suffering in my life. I was thinking about, so right now I've got the channel points thing turned off because I wasn't able to figure out what I want to do with it. But I was thinking that one of the noises, if we do turn it on, I don't know. People seem to have mixed feelings on it. If you think it's fun, I'll think about turning it on. Is like, you know, in ReZero, there's the noise that plays when anything like bad happens, and Subaru revives the, you know, that could be fun. I mean, that's probably super copyright, so, like, maybe it's not fun. But it's fun in theory. Oh, good. I'm glad I could be your ADHD body for the evening. I need to catch up on Demon Slayer. I'm still, like, way behind. Like, when I last left our heroes, they were boarding the train. So I haven't watched the movie, and I haven't watched anything since they boarded the train. And my memory is made of oatmeal, so I probably need to rewatch stuff to, like, get context. Well, at least Wally's getting some levels and experience. I mean, that's a good thing. Yeah, Eclipse is a little bit defective. Eclipse watched Clannad and didn't cry, so like, you know, proper psychopath. I don't think I've watched anything that's made me cry recently. I can't think of anything. It's the same studio that did Clannad? Okay. They must just have a thing for sad visual novels, or that's fair. Sometimes you just have to get a pulse check. Like, am I normal? No. Nope, not normal. Although, like, I don't know, like, sometimes you just gotta take these things with a grain of salt. Like, there was, there's an anime that I seem to remember watching that I think the people who liked it really liked it and said it was, like, very heartbreaking and touching. And it was just bad. it was bad. That was the one where the girl is a weapon. Bomb would remember the name of it. It escapes me off the top of my head, but it's like that show's basically a meme to me at this point. I didn't care for it. It was an older anime as well. Like older, I mean it like came out in like the mid to late 2000s, I think. Oh shoot, we're all out of confusion. Yeah, that one, Saikano. Yeah. That one's no good. But people online will tell you it's tragic. And I agree that show is a tragedy, but not for the reasons that they think it is. Do I... You know what? I think we should go back to the Pokemon Center. We should heal up. I sure would like to be able to use Thunder Wave on that thing. Oh, this guy didn't even peak in high school? He peaked in elementary school? That's rough. That's rough. Once you've accepted that you know you've peaked and you know it's all not necessarily downhill, but like at the very least like stabilized. You're it's all good. Let's see, you probably have a Numel in your party, so let's lead with you. You might have a Machop. I'm not sure what you've got. I'm strong. I won't cry if I lose. He's lying. He's not telling the truth. He will lie. He will cry. Gunslinger Girl. If I've seen that, I have zero recollection of it. No, in this show, like, the girl is like... Gosh, I don't even... Little girls turn into guns? Oh, is it a Pote? That show's a tragedy too, but that's just a bad show. The United States of yeah, no, I'm good. I'm alright. I don't think is even like a standard memeable like anime noise anymore. Like I think Ugu had its time in the sun, and I think it's that time has set. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I feel like I don't see that anymore. It's like a cute noise. Alright, I'm going to assume that's a link to the thing that Square mentioned, and if it is, it can stay. If it's something untoward, Eclipse, it's your responsibility to delete that and do your job as a moderator. There's a dude named Pinocchio. Does he lie? Does he lie as easily as he breathes? Encore, huh? Okay, I'll allow it. It can stay. Good work. Well, I think Encore is marginally more useful than Helping Hand, given how not many double battles there are in this game. You know, the game that introduced double battles. To be fair, how many triple battles were in the game where they introduced triple battles? Are triple battles still a thing? Can you engage in a triple battle if you want? I don't even know. There's like the mildest of stereo separation happening. Like you can kind of hear the move, the spark move, go from the left side of the screen to the right. Some care was taken. I'll watch it. I don't know if I'll watch it on stream, because, like, I don't know. Afraid of the copyright demons. But I'll watch it. Granted, I think I said I would do that for Pokemon Rusty, and I still haven't done that. So, you know, my word is pretty worthless. It's a parody? Okay. Parody is usually covered under, like, fair use. Yeah, maybe we'll watch it. We'll I'm gonna keep looking for Grimer here until, like, for another half hour at least. We'll watch it at the top of the hour, all right? That's your carrot to stick around until the top of the hour, right? We'll watch the United States of Ugh. Oh, Itsy Bitsy's been hurt. You might have to bully me. You might have to remind me. I'm committed to doing that, and if I don't do that, it's not out of malice. It's because brain. Boo. The brain don't always brain so good. Tell you what, we haven't explored the north side of the cave. Maybe the north side of the cave is where Grimer lives. Maybe he doesn't like the south side. Oh no, there's Terminator Bella. There's evil Bella. No, no, keep her away. Still not sure how I feel about, like, her phasing in and out of, like, the borders on the bottom and right, but I don't know. I think it's jank, and I think I like it. I think I'm gonna leave it. She's like a Diglett. Dude, I was watching something. I was doing something while I should have been doing something else. And the amount of like effort Game Freak puts into like honoring the fact that like Diglett has no feet and just kind of appears out of the ground is like it's pretty interesting. Just one big reaction video. Oh, you're gonna turn me into Asmongold? That's rude. Don't do that to me. I'm sure he's a lovely fella. I don't think I have it in me to become a reaction streamer. I don't think I have the clout for that. You know, I think you kind of have. I think you retire as a reaction streamer, right? Or you've got to have some sort of hook. You're sure he's not a lovely fellow? Okay, well, I don't know. I'll let you discuss and litigate that fact. I think you get started streaming something, you get a following, and then you become a reaction streamer, and then half your fan base is like, guy sold out. Used to be good. Just does reaction streams now. And then you already have a fan base, so then you get new fans because you're big enough to have fans. That's I think this is how the life cycle of streaming works. I'm gonna talk about the coin industry. I mean, I can talk about coins. I can talk about coins all day long. Here, I've got some coins somewhere. There you go. Here's a roll of Canadian dollars. Here's a roll of loonies. You can see the Queen there. 90s edition Queen, looking a little younger than she did. Coin stream? I don't want people breaking into my house. It's a terrible idea. Here's the other thing about a coin stream, right? I've done non-gaming streams on this channel plenty of times before, mostly old records. Those streams don't do well. Nobody watches those lovingly. Some of y'all watch those, but for the most part, nobody watches those. I feel like a coin stream might be similar. Is there a coin Pokemon? Grimer! Finally! I mean, Meowth has the coin on his forehead. That's alright, Plusachu. You've done your job. In the newest generation there is? Interesting. I didn't realize. Alright, so I'm sending out Maru on purpose. We're gonna use Rock Smash on Grimer because it's not very effective. And I don't want to do a lot of damage to him. My reputation for being a coin weirdo apparently precedes me. My wife's coworker was like, "Hey, I came into some old coins. Can your man look at them and tell me what I've got?" So that'll be fun. I'll be doing that as a favor sometime. Okay. It's in the red. Am I doing it on stream? No, I am not doing they're not my coins, so I would especially feel pretty bad about like sharing those on stream. Might do something privately on Discord though. I'd be up for that. Alright, let's go get Rimuru. It evolves from Gimmighoul when leveled up while the player has 999 Gimmighoul coins. Upon evolution, the coins are consumed. Gimmighoul's evolution cannot be cancelled with the B button. It is a Lady Grimer. Well, Rimuru's gender is Rimuru, so that's slimes don't have a gender, so it really doesn't matter. Rimuru was a man in his past life, but now he's a slime, a slightly effeminate slime when they take human form at that. So Rimuru has no gender. Make a Pokemon spin-off game where you capture and evolve coins. So how would that work? Would pennies evolve into nickels, or would pennies evolve into newer forms of pennies? Should you watch the Slime Show? I think it's pretty well put together. I enjoy it. I think it's pretty darn good. I don't know what your patience for like isekai is. It's not super, like, I don't think it does a whole lot to like really surprise you. Like, I don't think there's anything like super notable about reincarnated as a slime, but I think what it does well. That's, again, I'm not good at selling things. I enjoy it. Final answer, readers. That is kind of like Monster Rancher. You were right. You do level up and evolve the stone tablets, the coins. You're offended. That's up to me to decide. Okay, that's fair. So do pennies evolve into nickels, or do pennies evolve into different pennies? Oh, this is a trainer battle. I can't run away. I'm gonna say that they probably evolve into larger denominations. That probably makes the most sense. Like, most Pokemon, when they evolve, they get bigger in some way. That's not always true, but it's usually true. And it's usually true that the denominations get bigger, the physical coins get bigger. But that's not always true either. When you look at Old English currency, like a penny was much bigger than like a sixpence. Oh yeah, cassette beasts, that was fun. If we get a working PC setup again, well, maybe you can play that game on Mac. I don't know. I'd like to check that out again. Can a chicken be a coin in this game? What? Bartering system. Yeah, anything is currency if you want it to be hard enough, right? You know, what makes a currency valuable, right? There's the material it's made of. If the material is uncommon, like gold, that gives it value. Or, you know, it's the issuer of the currency, you know? If you have trust in the organization that put out the currency, then it's got value. You'd call that a fiat currency, I think. What are the different types of coins? I mean, in the US, we've got, in standard circulation, we've got the penny. Now, some people... Alright, I've got an axe to grind. Some people will get real pedantic with you and say, it's not actually called a penny in the US. It's called the cent. A penny is the British term. We don't call them pennies. And in like some ways they're technically correct, but here's the deal. You go to the US Mint website and you look up the coins there that have a value of 1 cent. You know what the Mint calls them? They call them pennies. So, I'm just saying. You know, whatever you want to call them. What if you barter with a fiat car? I mean, is the Fiat 500 worth at least $500? I should hope so. I haven't read that article. I did see you send it to me earlier. And I know that's a thing. And I tried to get that set up and working once. But then I don't know, probably saw a squirrel and I lost interest. But yes, I'm aware that that sort of browser streaming mechanism exists, so I do want to try that out. Of course, and yeah, right, Game Pass does PC games as well. But I mean, that said, I do have an Xbone here. Still need to fix the disk drive. That will probably be done on stream. I need to actually buy a disk drive for it, but that'll be a little overhead camera repair stream. And that's, you know, not... It's gaming adjacent, right? Are you kidding me? Another one? Well, we have to catch it. That's the rule. You gotta catch all the rare Pokemon. Well, crap. Now we... Ah, that sucks. Now I'm gonna want to... Yeah, fixing stuff. Fixing stuff's interesting. People like to see things fixed. That is a popular genre of YouTube video, right? There's interest in I mean, like, there's a whole channel. Yeah, well, on YouTube, but like, all right, there's like the HGTV, you know, television channel, right? Okay? And that's like, that's all they do is they fix old houses. I mean, sometimes they sell new houses, I guess, but a big part of it is fixing old houses. Like, people want to see things fixed. That's like I don't know, there's something primal, I think, in people where, or like power washing, right? People, you look for a video when you need it. No, well, maybe you do. I've watched people fix things. I've watched a man fix NASA equipment. When am I ever going to need to know how to do that? Never. I'm never going to own NASA equipment. But it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Alolan Grim. Okay, so clearly the Grimers do prefer the north side of the cave. I think we've established that. So I'm gonna go back to the Pokemon Center now, and since we have 2 Grimers of the same level, we're gonna compare them and see which one we actually want to use. Are we gonna use Rimuru or Alolan Grim? Because I mean, we've got 2 now. You know, we have a choice. The game is giving us a choice. Oh yeah, retro brighting. That is good for YouTube. That doesn't work in real time. That's a long process. That's not something I would ever stream. I never picked up the dang... Okay, whatever. It's fine. Okay, so you've got Stench, which apparently helps repel wild Pokemon. Not sure if that's actually coded in or not. Because, like, Intimidate's supposed to do that, too. Lathe working, sure. Prevents item theft, okay. I don't know the difference between the natures, so we're just going to look at their raw stats, okay? Rimuru's got more HP. Their attack is equal. Alolan Grim has a lot more defense. Rimuru has more special attack. Rimuru has more special defense. You have more speed. Okay, so what do I value more in a Grimer? Do I value physical defense or special attack? That's basically what it comes down to. Because, like, the HP is, like, whatever. Special defense is whatever. I think we like defense. I'm not a competitive Pokemon player. I don't know what's optimal here. But I think we like defense. I think that's what we want. So, Rimuru... I'm sorry. Alolan Grim. You're coming with me. And we're putting Itsy Bitsy away for a little bit because you're going to burn up in the fire gym, potentially. Yeah. Maru is stuck on our team, I just realized. It's got 2 of our HMs, which, I mean, you don't really need Cut to navigate anywhere, but you do need Rock Smash, so yeah, Maru is stuck with us. Or are we stuck with Maru? Who's the real prisoner here? We should probably put Grimer out in front. I do reckon. We were talking about coins at one point, weren't we? We talked about pennies. The 1 cent coin. We've got the 5 cent coin. We've got the 10 cent coin, the dime. And then we've got the 25 cent coin, the quarter. That's what you're going to find in your pocket change when you go shopping. There are half dollars. There are dollar coins. You'll find them on occasion. Some people think they're rare. That's not typically true. But they don't circulate a lot. So, you know, wasn't there a half coin? Well, in the US, there was, for a time, a half penny. That was a denomination that existed. Or I guess the half cent. You know, keep the pedants off of us. There was or is the half penny. The US hasn't minted the half penny in like at least 150 years, I think. Maybe closer to like 175. It's been a long time since we've had half pennies. Can there be shiny coins in this game? Well, there's an item that you get from. Do you get it from Norman? It's called the Amulet Coin. It doubles your prize money after a battle. So that's like a shiny coin, right? There is also the game corner where you can gamble and get coins for fabulous prizes. So there was the half cent. There was a 2-cent coin for a time as well. There were 3-cent coins for a very brief period. So like the half penny was there from the beginning, and they just kind of phased it out. The 2-cent coin, I don't think it was like one of the first coins. Like it was early Americana, but it wasn't like the first by any means. Is Shrek the Musical good? I think it's fine. Shrek the movie's better, but Shrek the Musical it's alright. I worked backstage for it for a summer and didn't want to, you know, brain myself with the songs. It's fine. 3-cent coins were pretty much only introduced so that people would have like a dedicated coin to buy postage stamps during a time in which postage stamps were pretty much guaranteed to always cost 3 cents. It's really strange. So yeah, it only those only existed for a very, very specific period in time. I do own a 2-cent coin and a 3-cent coin somewhere. You have a traveling company coming through. So they might be better than the production I'm a part of. I mean, if they're... Maybe. I hope they are. I've seen some wonderful traveling productions that are like, you know... I don't know that they were necessarily like off-Broadway or something like that, but it was like, you know, well done, well put together. Oh, raspberries. I thought these were cherry berries. Get out of here. Raz Carlson? Oh. I've seen a few stinkers. There was one production of Peter Pan that came through. I don't know what their deal was, but it was legit like 20 minutes of scene change in between jumping out the window to go to Neverland, which could be justifiable if, you know, the part preceding it was longer, or if the set they brought out was like really lavish and extravagant. But it wasn't. It was just like a tree stump, and that's it. And they had a little scene where they ran around the tree stump, and then they like had like another 25-minute intermission, and we left at that point, I'm pretty sure. So like, some traveling productions can be pretty rough, but in general, I've been to more good ones than bad ones. So, you know, don't be too scared by what I tell you. I tell you this as a funny anecdote and not as a warning. I don't think we made it to like real intermission. I think we left during Act 1. We never met Captain Hook. Yeah, Tinkerbell was a laser pointer, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that. That's true. It was, I've seen a lot of high schools do better. Not to bring down high school level theater, you know, but like they're doing this professionally. They should be better than high school theater, and they weren't. What other weird coins have there been in the US? There was a 20-cent coin for a while, in between the 10-cent and the 25-cent. But it was like... I don't even understand why it was minted. I don't recall. It was only minted for like a period of like 5 or 10 years. It was very short-lived. But it is interesting, right? Because I think it was minted in like the 1870s. And because of that, it is one of the large... It was a larger coin. I think it was, larger than a dime. Probably smaller than a quarter. But some of them were made in Carson City. And Carson City coins, because the Carson City Mint only operated for, however many years that it did, those are pretty desirable. So some of those 20-cent coins are fairly valuable. Was the 50-cent coin only made after Kennedy? No, we've had the 50-cent coin since the beginning. It was always in circulation. It was commonly circulated, I think. Believe it or not, I'm not a time traveler. I don't actually know what cash registers looked like back in the day. But a lot of things kind of came together at the same time to kill the oh right, we have to tell this lady to shut up or she'll just heal us forever. So a lot of things happened to kind of kill the $50 in circulation at the same time. So the first thing was the Kennedy assassination. Benjamin Franklin was on the coin before him. I gotta tell you a story. I'm gonna forget it otherwise, so please forgive me for getting off track again. I recently got a call from a telemarketer, and NSA or Facebook or whatever, they must have me pegged. Because this telemarketer was calling to sell me coins. He's like, hey, my name's Bob. And he talked like that. He's like, my name's Bob, and, I'm calling from, such and such coin, and I just got this big shipment in of Franklin $50. You familiar with the Franklin $50? Yes, I am. All right, wonderful. So here's the deal. Oh, it's past. Okay, all right. Yes, we will do that. I will defeat this Pokemon. I'll finish my story, and we'll watch the video. Thank you for the reminder. So, I'll keep grinding while I'm telling the story. When I'm done telling the story, we will watch the thing. So he's like, all right, I just picked up this whole shipment of proof coins, never been touched by human hands, man. And I got such a sweetheart deal on them. I can, got them for like 40% lower than market value, and I'm thinking, for you, I can get you like 3 rolls of them. So, we're thinking like, $700 a roll. We're thinking $2,200. What do you say? He's kind of just giving me this whole pitch. And I don't know, I just kind of let him talk a little bit. And I'm like, hey, thanks for the heads up. I don't think I'm interested at this time. And he starts to interrupt me, and I say, up, let me finish. Please also remove my phone number from your, solicitation database. And he says, man, you let me talk? You let me go on like that? And I'm like, I didn't want to interrupt you. He's like, man, I wish you had interrupted me. And I'm just like, all right, you have a good day. And that's the end of Bob. I disappointed him. Okay. Okay, so here we've got the YouTubes. Copy. You'll have lost game audio, I think. That's okay. You don't need it right now. Well, that is art right there. That's all I can call that is art. That was fun. This is my United States, whatever. Back to regularly scheduled waffling. We're looking for Skarmory here, by the way. 5% chance, so should show up a little quicker than Grimer. We were talking about coins. Carson City, 20 cent. $50. Yes, we were talking about $50. Yes, so Benjamin Franklin was on the $50 from like 1947, 48, thereabouts, until 1963. 1963 was, of course, the year of the Kennedy assassination, and they honored him by putting him on a coin. We haven't done that. Well, at this point, we actually have done that with every assassinated president because of the presidential dollar series. Pointing over there because I have like a wall thing with all the presidential dollars. There's still a gap in between some of them because Carter is like 100 years old now. I think he's actually 100 years old now. It's crazy. Good for him. And you're not supposed to put a living person on a coin in the U.S. That's like a rule, but it's a rule that's been broken before. Shh. Anyway. So Kennedy was assassinated, so they put him on the coin to honor him. So that happened in 1964. So here's the deal with coins. All of our coins used to be made of silver. When was it broken? Offhand, the ones that I can think of have been commemorative coins. So, like, the Mint will sometimes make a special coin for 1 year only for a special event. That's usually when they've broken that rule. They've put, like, Olympians and like, some senators, I think, on currency, in that way. It's only happened it's happened a handful of times, like probably fewer than 10 times. So it doesn't happen often, but it has happened. Right, so, but this time it didn't happen. We waited and we put Kennedy on the coin, you know, the year after he was assassinated. Granted, he was assassinated towards the end of 1963, so that was a pretty quick turnaround time. Like, less than a year had passed. So okay, that's fine. That's cool. That's whatever. So all of our coins were made of silver. It was the coin silver blend. I think is 90% silver and like 10% copper. And around that same time, just kind of by happenstance, silver prices were rising. I'm not sure if people were starting to hoard silver currency yet, but they soon would, because in 1965, we took all the silver out of the quarters and dimes. We kept them in the $50 for a little bit. We changed the formula so that $50 were 40% silver instead of 90. But once they took the silver out of the coins, everybody started hoarding silver coins, and they were replaced with the metal composition we have today, which is, I think, more, it's copper and nickel. And then by 1970, I think 1970 was the last year that silver was in the $50. And then from 71 onward, they were made of the same stuff as the quarters. And I think the reason they kept silver in the $50 was a practical reason. This is kind of hypothetical, but it's a bigger coin. So I think in order to get the relief, in order to get the image of Kennedy on the coin, you know, for it to be made of nickel, I think it would have required a lot more pressure. I think they had to like gear up the printing press, the coin press, in order to allow it to work with these harder, you know, less malleable metals. I think. That's kind of speculation. I haven't actually read into that. We had silver coins during the gold standard. Yes, up until 1933, when the Gold Recall Act was signed by Roosevelt. We had silver and gold coins, and then we kept the silver coins beyond. Well, I guess we were on the gold standard until Nixon, right? Yeah, that's true. So okay, so that's a whole nother thing. We'll talk about Roosevelt in a minute. But yeah, so up until 1970, whatever, when Nixon signed that law, 73, 74, we had silver coins. Skarmory. Hey, 5%'s a lot bigger number than 1%. So I think that's why that happened. So half dollars fell out of circulation because they were hoarding them because, oh, Kennedy, rip in peace Kennedy, but also rip in peace silver in coinage. So they were just getting hoarded, and then I think we just got kind of used to not using half dollars. I think that's what happened. I wasn't there for it, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Because, yeah, that's what makes sense to me. And I think, so, and another thing about US coins is that they weren't, I don't know, when did this become CoinStream? They didn't always have people on them. Like, we're used to our coins having, past politicians mostly on the coins, past presidents most often. But that wasn't always the case. That's fairly modern. Usually our coins just had some depiction of Lady Liberty on them. That changed. The first regular issued coin to have a real person on it for circulation, that was the Lincoln Penny from 1909. I just don't want to kill Skarmory. So 1909, we got Lincoln on the penny. 1932, we got Washington on the quarter. And that was intended to be a 1 year only. I don't know if the Lincoln penny was intended to be 1 year only. I don't think it was. I think that was always intended to become the new regular penny. But the Washington quarter in 32, I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be a 1 year only thing. But it was so popular that they just made it the regular quarter. And then in 1938, we got Jefferson on the nickel. And then in 1946, we got Roosevelt on the dime. So that's another example of a really quick turnaround time from a president dying to being honored on a coin. And of course, they put Roosevelt on the dime because of the March of Dimes fundraising thing that he did. Does that mean Liberty's dead? No, because Liberty does still appear on our coins, some of them. So no, Liberty's still alive. Although maybe you could argue that Liberty was dead in between, like, I don't know, 1946 and 1986. For like 40 years, Liberty was dead, but Liberty came back in 86. Yeah, he's a, what was it in Reefer Madness? Well, my dad says he's a Supreme Court packing Bolshevik. Well, I don't know about any of that. But only the dead are on coins. Well, that's true. You can conspiracize all you like. What are we naming Skarmory, by the way? We got so lost in the coin sauce that we didn't think up a good name for our giant metal bird. Call it F-16. Arsenal. Why am I naming it after a football club? Why are we doing that? I'll do it. I don't know if I'm happy about it, but I'll do it. I don't understand the significance, but I'll do it. Name it after the Spurs. Name it Carson after the Mint. Carson City. If Carson City fits as one unbroken term. Carson City. I could use camel case and, you know, just have the C's capitalized, but we won't do that. Okay, so the question is, do we go get Skarmory because Skarmory's cool? That's an objective fact. Or do we hold off because Skarmory's a steel type and they melt in flames? I'm kind of leaning towards the latter. Yeah, I think so. It's not as fun, all caps? Well, I mean... Look, all the Pokemon are all caps. Sandshrew! All caps. You know, Pokemon, they just have names in all caps. Are there steel-type coins? I don't know if you're memeing or not. However, yes, many countries have steel in their coin composition. Canada, famously, their coins are magnetic, most of them. The US did have steel coins during World War II. Copper was needed for, like, shell casings for bullets, I think. So, in 1943, coins were made of steel. Pennies specifically. All pennies were made of steel. There are reports of some pennies from 1943 being made of copper instead. And similarly, there's some reports of pennies from 1944 being made of steel instead. Kind of, they got their piles mixed up. Those are very rare and very valuable. If you ever find one of those, I don't know, send it to me. I'll take good care of it. Coins have been made out of most metals that you would think to make a coin out of, and probably a few that you wouldn't think to make a coin out of. So we were talking about different denominations, right? So we got the half dollar, we've got the dollar, and the dollar was traditionally a large silver coin. When they reintroduced it in the 70s, the dollar coin kind of went away. It was like produced pretty regularly up until like 1935. And then it just kind of went away. And, you know, that might have been because of the rising silver prices. I think it was like not cost effective. But then they brought it back in 71. They put Eisenhower on the dollar. And then after they killed the Eisenhower dollar, they introduced the small size dollar that we have today, with the Susan B. Anthony dollar. And but kind of the same thing happened where people, like, they tried to push the dollar coin a little bit. The Mint wanted the dollar coin to be a thing because from like a cost-benefit analysis, like, dollar coins stay in circulation longer than dollar bills, so it would be like really, you know, it would save the Mint a lot of money if we would just use dollar coins. But we don't. And it's kind of a moot point these days because, like, I think most transactions tend to be digital, but, you know, back in the 90s and the 80s, that was a factor. So yeah, 1981, I think, we got the Susan B. Anthony dollar. And then that gave way to the Sacagawea coin, and also the presidential dollar series. And now there's like another series of dollar coins that's occurring that's like famous inventions from every state. Like they're kind of doing like the state quarters thing, but with the dollar coins for like notable inventions from every state. I don't know, it's weird. I don't much care for it. I'm kind of sick of the yearly, like, you know, the state quarters were a good gimmick, right? So from 1999 to 2008, 2009, if you want to include the territories, we had the state. They'd release 5 coins, 5 quarters every year with a different state on it. That was kind of fun. I would have liked them to be done with that after that, but they're not. Canada kind of does it a little better, I think, where they don't necessarily commit to a shtick for like a decade with their coins. They just say, okay, this year, instead of, you know, the loonie, you might get the, you know, $1 coin with the loon on it, or you might also get this other one that's like a World War II remembrance thing, or, you know, is a hockey thing. It's Canada. Of course they have hockey on their money. So that's kind of the dollar coin. That just kind of... I think it just fell out of favor because it was gone for 40 years. And then when they tried to reintroduce it, it was like, oh, I haven't seen these coins in so long. Oh, gotta hoard them. It must be rare. It must be valuable. Has our state ever invented anything? I don't know. Probably a better way to cultivate soybeans? Uncrustables? That can't be true. I don't believe you. I think our state invented simping for Teddy Roosevelt. It's a fact? Okay, if you say so. Invented in Fargo, North Dakota. That's bold. That's bold. If it says so, okay. All right, I think we should talk to this lady. I think we're done catching Pokemon, by the way, until we get Surf. Once we get Surf, we can catch a Pelipper. They appear at a 5% chance while surfing. So I didn't think of Pelipper as a rare Pokemon, but apparently in this game, Pelipper in the wild, yes, considered rare. Oh, once we get Surf, though... Once we get Surf, we're in a little bit of trouble. Because... How did Canada make a coin glow in the dark? I don't actually know that much about how glow-in-the-dark technology works. Like, they used to use radium, but obviously they don't do that anymore because that causes super cancer. So I don't actually... I'm not versed in that. But whatever they use to make, like, glow-in-the-dark, like, plastic stars for your bedroom, I think they did pretty much the same thing. They just slapped it on a coin. Let's keep the coin talk going. It gives me something to talk about, I suppose. It's probably better than silence. And if it isn't better than silence, I apologize. Blame chat. They started it. So you had the dollar coin. That was a thing. You also had coins of values larger than $1. Generally speaking, if your coin is worth more than $1, it's probably made of gold or another precious metal. So you had the... So, you know, we've got the $quarter, the $half, and the dollar, right? Well, there's also the quarter eagle, the half eagle, and the eagle. The eagle is the $10 gold coin, and then you can kind of deduce that the half eagle is the $5, and the quarter eagle is $2.50. These are real coins that once existed. And then you had the double eagle at $20. And these coins were all produced pretty regularly right up until the 1920s, 1932 for some of them, and then 1933 to kind of help combat the Great Depression. I think Roosevelt issued a gold recall order, basically a gold buyback, where he's like, hey, are you guys sitting on gold coins? Well, here's the deal. Legally, you can only have this much gold. The rest of it, government's got to buy back from you. So you'd swap in your $20 gold coin for a $20 bill, or 20 silver dollars, maybe. And all the gold coins got melted down and stored in Fort Knox. And that's why gold U.S. coins are kind of like extra rare and valuable. Like, not just because they're made of gold, but because the older ones, a lot of them were destroyed. And that gold recall order was like in place for like a lot of years. I don't know when it expired exactly, but there was like a limit as to how much gold a private citizen could hold. For quite a while. Roosevelt was like the "we buy gold" advertisements. Yeah, a little bit. Except if you didn't sell him your gold, I think G-men came to your house to take it. I'm not exactly sure how they enforced it. Does that make Roosevelt your least favorite? No. I mean, as a coin enjoyer, right? That makes me sad that coins were destroyed. And I'm not an economist, so I can't tell you how effective the gold buyback order was at, like, I don't know, making us not poor. Like, maybe it was really effective. Maybe, like, it needed to happen. Roosevelt probably helped steer us the right direction in World War II, so no, he's probably not my least favorite president. This is about as political as we'll get around here. I don't want this to become a political space. I think one thing, so kind of on the flip side of that, you could argue that Nixon, like, revived silver and gold coins to an extent, because, like, in the 70s he took us off the gold standard. I don't know if it was Nixon that did it, like, it's got Nixon's name on it, like, maybe somebody else cooked up the plan, I don't really know. But, like, so then, like, 10 years later, like in 86, then we started getting bullion coins. The mint started making silver coins again that said $1 on them, and yes, you could take that coin and spend it at a store as a dollar, but you wouldn't want to do that because the silver content in the coin, far exceeded that. And we got gold bullion as well. We got gold coins that were like, $50 face value on the coins, I think. I don't have any gold bullion, believe it or not. I don't think I own a gold coin. I don't think that I do. I might own some gold flakes, but I don't think I own any gold, alright? Sorry, if you rob me, you're gonna be pretty disappointed. I gotta say, I think I'm a big fan of Grimer here. He's doing work. Grimer might be one of the best Pokemon on our team. And I don't know how to feel about that. Because, for one, it's not even a Gen 3 Pokemon. What's the oldest coin I own? That's a good question. I might have an Roman coin. I might have one coin from like 300 BC, 80. I don't know, probably 80. I've got one old like antiquities coin. Otherwise, I've got a coin. It's like a shipwreck coin from like the 1600s. Otherwise, for the most part, like most of the coins I have are from the 1900s. With you know the 1800s being the next most common, and it would probably trickle down from there. What metal is it made of? It's probably silver. Most old coins were made of silver, not only because silver was valuable, but because it was easy to work with. Especially true for the Roman coins. You know, when we didn't have hydraulic press to smash coins into shape, and instead we actually had to like hammer them or you know cast them. You know, silver, I think, has a fairly low melting point. I mean, it's not as low as lead, obviously, but... yeah, most of the antique coins I have are made of silver. I do have some coins from the 1800s that are made of copper, though, as well, primarily. Alright, so here are the eco-terrorists. We found the plot again. There's Archie, I think he's called. Yeah, Archie. He's a pirate. It is kind of fun. Like, it's kind of silly, but it's kind of fun that there's, like, two different, like, criminal organizations in this game. Between Ruby and Sapphire that are like kind of doing their own thing. Can't escape? That must mean that Grimer's really, really slow. Which, that's probably true. I don't see him moving too fast. The US also makes coins out of platinum, for whatever that's worth. You can get a coin that has a face value of $100, made of platinum. Another coin, does the US make palladium coins? I think we might do. I think this is the Moonstone. Heck yeah, it is. So, we are able to evolve Skitty at any time now. I'm gonna quick look something up on Bulbapedia. Give me a moment here. Level up moves, Gen 3. I think I do want it to learn that. So we're probably not evolving Skitty until like level 40, when it learns Double Edge, the best attack it can learn. That's unfortunate, because Skitty's not great. I mean, we could always say screw it, and evolve it anyway. But I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Maybe if we're like really stuck and like not doing well in battles, maybe we'll bump it up. We'll evolve it and say screw it. Whatever moves you need to learn, we'll just teach you via TM instead. So where are we going now? I think we have to climb the volcano to fight the bad guys. We should probably heal. Orson is ready for more learning on coins. Boy, what else can I learn you about coins? Let's talk about mints. Let's talk about mint marks. So, in the US, your coin that you find in your change will have on it somewhere, probably on the front side. Sometimes, depending on the coin, it'll be somewhere else. There will be a letter on there, and that tells you where the coin was made. Why did I switch to Wally? That's no good. That wasn't smart. P is for Philadelphia, D is for Denver. Historically, when Philadelphia was the only mint, we didn't put mint marks on our coins. And that tradition kind of carried on for a while, where Philadelphia, as the original mint, just wouldn't put mint marks on its coins. So you would only have letters if it came from somewhere else. And D hasn't always meant Denver. It kind of depended on the coin that was being made, I think. There was a D mint that you would see on some gold coin issues that I don't even remember what it stands for, but I think it's somewhere in like South Carolina. It's kind of a weird thing. Some coins have O for New Orleans. New Orleans had a mint for a while. And Carson City, it was CC. Carson City got 2 letters. I do have 1 or 2 coins minted in Carson City. Like I said, Carson City wasn't open as a mint for very long. It opened during like the big like silver mining days, the silver rush, back in the day. I mean, I guess it was mostly a gold rush, but like Nevada, I think, had a lot of silver, as I understand it. So they made a lot of they helped supplement that supply kind of closer to where all the action was happening. W. You might see W for West Point, New York, which is... West Point is, like... Obviously, there's, like, a military school there, but there's also, like, coin reserves there. Like, I think we store a lot of our silver and gold there instead of Fort Knox. That's a thing. Let's bring Molly back up to speed. Very possibly. Very possibly. Maybe Carson City named themselves after Crispy Cassette. You know, there's always that possibility. You shouldn't discount that possibility. Were there any other mint marks in the U.S.? There's New Orleans, there's Denver. Oh, San Francisco. Duh, San Francisco had a mint. Still does. You won't tend to see San Francisco minted coins in circulation anymore. You might see some pennies here and there, but for the most part, you don't see them in circulation anymore. San Francisco mostly focuses on proof coins, which are like super shiny coins. And West Point, for that matter, mostly mints bullion. They don't usually mint circulation coins. I did not go to the mint when I was in San Francisco. It was brought up as an option, and I think while I would have enjoyed it, I don't think the wife would have gotten as much out of it. So I decided I was okay with not going. I'd be okay making another trip out to San Francisco someday. I think there's a lot of cool stuff to see out there, and if I do, I would be happy to explore the mint at that time. To be fair, I've been to Denver once as well, and I haven't visited the Denver Mint. Although I was much younger and not able to, like, drive or order a taxi, so it's not quite apples for apples. Yeah. No, the closest mint to us, of course, is the, well, at least in my geographical area, I should say. I live closest to an international mint. I live closest to the mint in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And that mint's really interesting because while, you know, it's like the primary mint, like, you know, they make Canadian coins there, and that's cool. But, like, the Winnipeg Mint makes coins for, like, a lot of different countries. Like, I think, like, stuff like Saudi Arabia and stuff, like, have the Canadians make their coins for them. They, like, outsource the minting of coins to Canada. And that is, and, you know, historically has been a common practice. I think the U.S. did some outsource work from time to time. Of course, when, like, pre-World War II, right, when the Philippines were still a U.S. territory, those coins that were used in the Philippines, those were minted in the U.S. I do have a Philippine, like, territorial coin somewhere. It's like a 10 centavos or something like that, I think. That's like mildly interesting. Do I have a dream coin collector destination trip? That's a good question. I think I'd like, so like coin shows and like expos are like a thing. I might like to go to like one of the big ones someday. Like, they'll have them in like, you know, where the old people with money are, right? They'll have them in Florida a lot. Of course, sometimes they'll have them in Vegas because it's Vegas. I'd like to do that sometime. It's cool. At the Canadian Mint, you can actually mint your own coin. I have a coin that I minted, so that's fun. Yeah, we'll save here. There is a, you know, marginal use of the word interesting. There's an interesting video about this screen. Apparently, very rarely, there's a hiker that's supposed to walk down that mountain, and he just about never does. And in the game's code, there's supposed to be like even more like NPCs that are supposed to walk down the mountain, but they absolutely never do. You're only ever going to see the hiker. It's kind of interesting. If I remember to, I'll put a link to it in the Discord. Leading with Grimer is probably a bad idea, because a lot of these people have Zubat. Yeah, my point stands. But, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Now, if this were a modern generation game, that leech life would be quite frightening. Because they super buffed it, but, like, in this game, I think it has a base power of 15. I think in newer games it's like 80 or something stupid. It's so strong. It's like one of the best moves in the game. They're like, hey, you know how bug types are like totally unviable? What if they weren't? What if their moves were actually good? It's a weird concept. Team Magma battle theme is a good one. Sorry, Maru. Sorry, Maru. I will scoop Bella. I did bother her pretty well today for whatever it's worth. Wait a minute. Did that guy say, "I'm glad I didn't take you on at Meteor Falls"? Oh, right. Oh, okay. I was confused. I'm like, aren't we at Meteor Falls? No, no, no. We're up Mount Chimney. Meteor Falls was the place we just were where we found the Moonstone. Okay. I'm good. I know where we are now. We need more land. I'm giving us more land. I've been intimidated and sand attacked, so I think we're switching it up here. All of the Bills. Well, there's Bill Clinton. There's Bill Cosby. There's Bill and Ted. There's Billy the Kid. There's Bill Bixby. Who else is there? Billy Joel, good shout. Billy Joe Armstrong is as well. And that's it. No one else named Bill has ever lived in. Bill Shakespeare? He's not in the U.S. Come on. Billy D. Williams. I suppose. Bill McKinley, President Billiam McKinley. Big Bill. Bills, it's one... I mean, the common bills that you see today are 1, 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100. They're all pretty common. $2 bill. You can get a $2 bill if you really want them. A lot of banks have them. A lot of banks don't want to deal with them, but most banks, if you ask them nicely, they might be able to get you some. Especially around the holidays. A lot of banks, here's a top tip for you. A lot of banks will stock up on crisp, uncirculated bills around Christmas time. So, like, if you go there, like, Black Friday or beyond, and you want crisp dollar bills to put in your cards that you're giving to people, that's the time that you can, maybe not guarantee, but you can kind of cheese the system and try and get that going. We did also have yes, fresh from the Xerox. We also had for a time $500 bills as well as $1,000 bills, $5,000 bills, and like $10,000 bills. In practice, these were not used. They were like for commerce. These were like bills that like corporations would trade between themselves if they couldn't be bothered to write a check for some reason, or like bank to bank transfers of assets. in a lot of ways, it's like how in really old times, I'm talking like medieval times, the pound, right? The pound was like the base currency, and people would call it different things, but basically every country had like shillings and pounds. And you would not see a pound in circulation. Pounds were for record keeping and for like banks to tell each other like business. It was like a ludicrously large number, basically. So that's kind of what like the 500 and above bills were. You just didn't usually see them. They were very rare. I used to work as a teller, and somebody did come in to a bank and asked for $500 bills, and I thought they were joking, and I kind of chuckled, and they had a very earnest look on their face, and I kind of had to tell them, look, the U.S. I don't know what you've heard, but we haven't made $500 bills since the 1930s. They've mostly been pulled out of circulation, and if you have a $500 bill, it's worth about $1,000 these days, give or take, depending on condition. So yeah, it's kind of a tough one. I think we lose, like, unless this kills. Okay, this kills. We win. We just made it. Good job, Wally. Maxie was caught off guard. Hurrah! All right. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make our way down the path to Lava Ridge Town. Real quick like. All right, here we are. And we're going to go ahead and save here, and we're going to call it for the evening. So I'm going to do a little bit of off-screen grinding. I'm going to get everyone to, about level 25, give or take. And then we'll look at taking on Flannery and Norman the next time that we play this game, and we'll probably talk about something that isn't coins. I don't know. Thanks for joining Currency Talk with Crispy Cassette featuring Pokemon Ruby. You all have a lovely evening. We'll talk to you all soon.